everyone, it's Caitlin and I'm here with zookeeper Megan. And we are in our barnyard area at Franklin Park Zoo today. So as you can see, that means some of our animals that we're able to come in with. So we have a really special live for you today where Megan is going to show us some of the daily care of a few of the barnyard animals. So the one that you're seeing right now is Brownie, and he is our mini horse. And then behind Megan and I over here, this is Squirt, and Squirt is our mini donkey. So as you can see, they have their harnesses on here because Megan's gonna bring them over to the gate over here so that she can groom them and teach us a little bit more about how that's done and why we do it here at the zoo. And then we'll be able to take any of your questions. So if you do have some questions, put them right into the chat and we will get to those. And you'll also see when we go over there, we have our friends, the Pontu donkeys, right behind as well, watching the action today. So we'll bring Brownie right over, and Megan is going to show you what some of the tools that she uses for the grooming is and how she does it. Of course.
So right now we put Brownie's harness on, and then he has a quick release lead. So if during the grooming, if he gets uncomfortable, if something spooks him, this does just pop right off his halter so he can get out if he needs to. But right now let's start with some brushing. So we have a little toolkit here, and to start with our grooming, we start with a curry comb. You can use a rubber brush, or they do have metal curry combs. And basically you just make a rotating motion and it helps bring up any loose hairs or dirt and oils out of their hair. Right now they are growing their winter coat. So it is pretty thick right now, and domestic ponies do have a thicker coat, which helps them withstand the colder temperatures. So especially when the snow starts, or as it had last week, Brownie was out here standing in the snow, quite enjoying it. So usually you brush one side, and then when you go behind a horse, you just let them know that you're back here, and you do the other side. And Brownie is very good about this. We go ahead and groom them every day. It helps to keep their coat looking nice.
So Megan, we have a question if you want to take one. Katie wants to know, what are their favorite food items?
So these guys mainly eat hay, but they can get some grain. And they love to go out into like a pasture and eat grass out in the wild as well. For Brownie especially, we actually soak his hay in water every day, which takes out some of the carbohydrates. We do this because as a geriatric horse, he does have what you call Cushing's disease. So taking out some of those extra carbohydrates helps as a treatment for his Cushing's.
Cool.
And they're pretty used to this since they do it every day. So do you think they kind of look forward to their grooming time, or it's something that they're just used to, kind of their daily routine in?
I think it's definitely part of the routine. Brownie is usually looking forward to us in the morning because he knows after he gets groomed, he gets his hay. So he's usually pretty good and stands pretty straight like this. Squirt sometimes will be circling a little bit. But once we use our curry comb, we go ahead and use the dandy brush, and you just make a flicking motion and flick off that dirt you brought to the surface. You kind of want to start from the top and just flick down so you're not putting it on the rest of the coat.
We had another question from, hope I'm saying this right, Khadijah. How old are they?
So Brownie is about 29 years old, and Squirt is 25. They are both older. They can live upwards to like 30, 35 years though. Usually longer in captivity And then, like I said, once you do one side, you just walk behind and do the other.
Bob would like to know, what is Brownie's personality like?
Brownie is very spunky. He loves, like I said, being outside in all sorts of weather. You know, if it's pouring rain, he will stand out here and just roll in the dirt and the mud afterwards. Especially during the winter months when it cools off, he gets very energetic and likes to run around outside. Squirt is blind, so he has a little bit, not harder time getting around, but as you can see, he kind of just does his own thing. That's why sometimes with Squirt we like to give him different enrichment items. Sometimes use different scents for him to keep him using those instincts. Even though he doesn't have his sight, he'll have his sense of smell and touch, which he relies on to get around.
Cool. Allison wants to know, what's your favorite part of working with these two?
I think my favorite part is, you know, getting to know their personalities. Every day is a little bit different. So some days Brownie really enjoys being groomed, so you get to spend more time. Sometimes you can like braid his hair, like hang out a little more, and you really just get to know them on a one-on-one basis, working with them every day. And see how they like to have lots of fun.
Does he do that a lot, Squirt?
He does. And you'll see Brownie does that too, and that's why some days you'll groom them and then you're like, well, they're all dirty again. But I think they like having that dirt to roll around in, scratch and whatnot. And then the last part of the brushing we use is our body brush. It's just a soft bristle brush. You just go ahead and brush one last time to get those oils out. And this brush you can use on their legs as well. It is soft for their legs to go down. And make sure you get as much dirt as you can off. And then with Brownie too, sometimes we'll brush out any hay he gets or leaves in his mane and tail as well. But if you would like, I can show you some hoof picking on Squirt now if you have time.
Sure.
Yeah, that was funny. Someone in the chat said the little one wants to know when it's his turn. So it's gonna be his turn now.
So like I said, this just unhooks from Brownie. And we'll see if we can get Squirt over here. Squirt!
Brownie's like,
Hi! What are you doing? Come here! Squirt! Stand. Good boy. So usually when you're working with domestics, you do walk on the left side and you just kind of lead them forward. Like I said, with Squirt being blind, you kind of have to tell him when to stop and stand. Stand. But he's pretty good about knowing where he is. So this is our hoof pick. Usually start on their front feet and you kind of just work away in a circle, and you want to stand facing backwards. But especially with Squirt, since he is lower to the ground, you just got to be aware of his face when you're doing this. You just take your hand and you go down the leg. They're pretty good about it, but if you say hoof, they lift their hoof up, and you just want to hold it underneath for support. And you take your pick in the opposite hand and facing away from you, and you just fling out the dirt. In the middle of the hoof is a frog, so you want to be careful to not touch the frog. It is very sensitive to them. It's just part of the hoof structure. So you just want to clear, kind of makes a V shape right around the frog. And then there's a brush, you can brush off any shavings. This is definitely important to do every day in case there's a rock stuck or any debris. It could lead to infection or lameness on the hoof. So you want to make sure to pick it every day to clean it out make sure there's nothing going on. And then you just put the hoof down and you go all the way around.
Can he feel it when you're doing that, or does it not notice it too much?
He doesn't really notice it unless you like touch that frog, which is the very sensitive part, and then he'll flinch. Sometimes he'll pull his foot away if he doesn't want it. Squirt, touch.
Chrissia wanted to know if Squirt has always been blind.
He has. He was born blind. So like I said, he's learned how to get around, but also with the keepers, it's a good way for us when we are grooming him to say, now we're brushing, or now we're doing a hoof pick, just so he's aware that we're here with him and that we're touching him. Sometimes it's helpful, we can do training while we're grooming as well. So we'll touch or take a stethoscope and say we're listening.
Nice.
Just so he's aware of other things that could happen in the future for like any medical procedures.
We had Isabella tell us that she's blind too and hopes to work with animals one day. That's awesome. And what's really cool about Squirt and Brownie living together is that Squirt uses Brownie to kind of guide him if he is not sure where he's going. So Brownie is his companion here at the zoo and kind of helps Squirt out. So if you've come to the zoo, you've probably seen them here. I know someone else had asked, I think it was Bob, had asked of what other animals are in the barnyard. And we have, like I said, right next to us, our Patu donkeys here too. And they spend time, all four of them spend time together pretty regularly. So they have a little herd here. So they have some companions. So Squirt has some fellow horse friends to guide him around, which is really awesome. And this will also help, like you were saying, with, we talk about training a lot with some of our other animals, but like we said, we're not always in the same space as them. So being able to be in the same space as them, what are some of the other behaviors that you work on with Squirt or Brownie?
So like I said, we do a lot of medical training. Squirt has had previous dental issues, especially when he gets older. So we actually do a mouthwash for him every day as well. So it's a good way to work on something saying open, so you can go ahead and put that wash in his mouth and clean it every day. Like I said, we do a lot of touching, and in case they ever need like an injection or medications, we learned how to practice sticking, so that could be like with a cap needle in case ever a hospital needs to draw blood or whatnot. And then they do get a farrier that comes and trims their hooves. So by us touching their hooves every day, it makes them comfortable for when a farrier comes.
Awesome.
Cool. Any other questions before we wrap up?
I'm trying to see. People are just very excited about Squirt and Brownie and their grooming.
And then usually when we are done grooming, we just go ahead and slip their halters off. It just kind of buckles and it just slides right off their head. And then they know they're done.
Squirt. Yeah, the only question that we had, the last question we had is if we still have a llama, but we no longer have a llama in our barnyard area. She was quite an old llama that used to actually live at Stone Zoo for many years. So she does not live in the barnyard anymore. She passed away. But thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Megan, for showing us all of the grooming for these two. They were a big hit. So we hope to see everyone soon with this really nice weather. You can come and visit us and you can see Brownie and Squirt and our Patu donkeys all in the barnyard and come take a closer look at them. Thank you. Hope to see you soon.